Good morning. And welcome to Plymouth High School for our annual Veterans Day celebration. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, a temporary cessation of hostilities was declared between the Allied nations and Germany in the First World War. Commemorated as Armistice Day the following year, November 11th became a legal federal holiday in the United States in 1938. In the aftermath of World War II and the Korean War, Armistice Day became Veterans Day, a holiday dedicated to the American veterans of all wars. In recognition of Veterans Day, Plymouth High School holds this very special annual convocation, which is reflective of our desire and our attempt to say thank you to all the veterans, those that are here with us today, those who unfortunately couldn't make it, all the veterans. We will do our best this morning to say thank you in a way that is dear to our heart, but we recognize that our thank yous can never be enough for all that you've done, all that you've given, and all that you have sacrificed so that we can enjoy the wonderful quality of life that we do. At this time, I ask that we all stand for the singing of the national anthem, which will be performed today by our Plymouth High School Crimson Connection under the direction of Mr. Ryan Van Antwerp.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now we will have a video that has been made by our own Josie Koontz and Anna Hite.
You packed your bags and shut the door. You crossed the sea to fight a war. You didn't know just what would happen to you.
True heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for serving for our country.
Freedom. God bless America.
Home.
Selfless.
Brave.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Sacrifice.
Never forget.
Honor.
Thank you. Sacrifice.
Honor. True heroes.
Salute.
Loyal.
Brave.
Commitment.
Selfless. Privilege.
Glory. Precious gift of freedom.
Freedom isn't free.
Country.
Peace. Never forget.
Sacrifice.
too many dead. Your weary soul was crying, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Life, honor, love. Thank you.
Peace.
Respect. Integrity. Thank you.
Home.
Freedom isn't free.
Love of country.
From the bottom of my heart.
God bless America. Honor. Thank you.
Never forget. Selfless.
Freedom isn't free.
Peace. Honor. God bless America.
Never forget.
True heroes.
Selfless.
Lips you scream a hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Three.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will never forget.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Thank you very much to the students who produced that wonderful video for us. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Superintendent of Schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Andy Hartley.
Veterans Day is really one of my favorite days of the school year. And it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a great way for us to, like Mr. Condon said, start to express our thanks. As well, for our students, there are wonderful lessons to be learned here, and to participate in this day brings me as superintendent great joy for you. The lessons that we have worked, that we strive for us to learn from days like today include, I'll just narrow it down to two for us right now: service and gratitude. When I think of service for our veterans, it began with a mindset when you first enlisted. It was further instilled in your time and your tenure during your service, and has continued afterwards. I know many of you sitting here and know what you are involved in a daily, weekly basis, either through the jobs that you have or have had, or through your involvement in a local church or other service organizations. And that value is tremendous. It has made us better. It's made our community better. It's a great lesson for all of us to give to something that is greater than us as individuals, to a purpose that is bigger than any of us. Reminds me, kind of smacks me in the head, that my time here is much greater than me. And so I thank you for that. And that thanks, that gratitude is the other lesson that I hope that we continue to acquire from days like today. Gratitude is a powerful thing. It's the key for our success as individuals, as groups, as a school, as a community. That gratitude continues to build us up. And so with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to those who have served, those who are in the midst of serving, and I am also thinking of those who may be sitting in our audience today who are planning to serve. We appreciate you. We appreciate the lessons that you continue to teach us. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hartley. Much appreciated. At this time, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Josh Walker. Josh is a disabled combat veteran of the Iraq War. He was a Cavalry Scout in the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. He and his unit deployed to southwest Baghdad in Iraq in 2005 after the initial invasion. After receiving an honorable discharge in 2007, Josh married his high school sweetheart, Amy. Have you ever wondered how veterans intersect with our community after their time in the service is done? Josh has blogged about his expectations and his experiences in combat and dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome. He's spoken to various groups about the impact veterans have on their communities, and he continues to volunteer with veteran nonprofits. He now owns and manages Recon Media, a creative advertising agency right here in downtown Plymouth. And that works with nonprofits, schools, and small businesses in hopes that they will grow. Josh is passionate about his community involvement, business development, in nonprofits, and in disaster relief. Today, Josh is going to share his own experiences in the military and in combat, and what it's like to be back home here in Plymouth, his home community, and what it truly means to be a veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Josh Walker.
Going to break the rules a little bit and take this out. Good morning, and thank you guys for organizing this and inviting me here. And thank all of you in the stands here for taking some time out of your morning to sit down and listen to some random guy talk a little bit. Most of all, thank you guys and ladies here for your service and for your commitment and for your sacrifice. I'm the unlucky one that had to come up here and talk, but I think any of these people down here very well could have done a better job. This morning, though, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself in terms of my experience and what it means to be a veteran, to a veteran, and to me personally. I can't speak for all veterans, just like you can't speak for all of your friends what it means to be you. And then we'll talk a little bit about what it means to be a veteran in a community and after your service. So a lot of people will say thank you for your service on a day like today. And we do appreciate that as veterans. I can say that, that I do truly appreciate that. But there's more to it than that, and that's what we'll talk about for a few minutes. A little bit of background about myself. I went to John Glenn High School, graduated in 2002. I was a terrible student. Don't tell my mom that, but I was not a good student at all. I was more of a creative person, liked to break the rules, and didn't really like to follow what I was told to do. Somehow I wound up in the military, and they kind of whipped that right out of me. So I had to start following the rules real fast. I came to appreciate, though, through the military and through my Army experiences in combat, I came to appreciate and value structure. As wild as I can be at times, or as like outside the box, there is a special value when it comes to structure. And not doing what you're told just because you're told to do it, but doing something because you understand the value that it brings. And a lot of the times, that's where the sacrifice comes in. These men and women that are sitting here in front of you, in their experiences in the military, they were asked to do things that they certainly did not want to do. Things that most people would never dream of or consider. But they understood that there was a value there, that they might not see the value even in their own lifetime, but that it would pay forward to another generation like you guys and beyond. So when we talk about sacrifice, that's one of the things that we're talking about. We're not always talking about sacrificing a limb or sacrificing a life. while those things are incredibly, incredibly important and valuable and deserve respect and honor. But we're talking about the daily sacrifices that our veterans have made. So you might look at somebody like me and say, he doesn't look like a disabled veteran because I'm not walking with a prosthetic, or I'm not in a wheelchair, or I'm not missing fingers or wearing an eye patch. And you've probably likely heard that not all wounds are visible. And there's a sacrifice in that. And that's what I'm talking about is PTSD, a post-traumatic stress disorder. When you go through a traumatic event, whether it's a car accident, living through a tornado where your house is totaled, or going to war, these traumatic events leave a lasting impact on a human being. Our minds and our souls aren't made to withstand these things and then come out the same as we were before we went into them. Just like if you get blown up by a roadside bomb and you lose a leg, you are different because of that. When you go into combat and you come out of it, you are different because of that. And so, I've had PTSD since I came home, and I've had to learn how to kind of work through that and deal with that. But more than anything, I wanted to make sure that my disability was not a hindrance, but rather a valuable tool that I could use to help people understand what it means to be a veteran. And that's about enough about me, because I don't like to talk about myself. I'd rather talk about the people that are sitting here. So I want you guys in the audience here to raise your hand if you know a veteran in your life, if there's anybody in your life who's a veteran. Okay, leave your hands up. Now remember, I was a terrible student, so I'm really bad at statistics and math, but I can confidently say that this is a majority, right? Okay, you put your hands down. Now, 10 years ago, that might have been a different number. You go back into Vietnam and World War II and Korea, anytime there's a conflict in our world, we have an influx of service members, and those service members come home. So when you raise your hand because you know a veteran, that's because it could be your grandfather, it could be your grandmother, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, it could be your next door neighbor. So we are surrounded by veterans in our daily lives. And probably not too much time goes without thinking about those people. But on a day like today, and a few other times throughout the year, when we say a veteran and we shake their hand and we say, thank you for your service, that is meaningful. Again, I'm not discounting that. But what I want to talk a little bit for a couple minutes now is, when you're thanking somebody for their service, it's almost as though you're implying that they're done serving. And we could go around and poll these fine men and women who are very young and vibrant people. And we could poll them and say, what did you do after your military service? You might have served 2 years, you might have served 25 years. But I would be curious to know what they did after their service. When I look at this crowd in here, I'm looking at a group of people that I would not want to mess with. I would not want to get in their way. These people are determined, they're committed, they're incredibly innovative, because in the military you're always understaffed, you're always underfunded, things don't show up on time when you need them, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to think on your feet. You have to make up alternative solutions when you've got a mission to complete and you don't have the tools or the money or the soldiers. You still have to get that job done. So what we see, though, is when they got out of the military, they came home, they started families, they got back into the routines of civilian life, which is more difficult than you might imagine for a veteran. For me, it was anyway. It was not an easy experience coming back to be a civilian and not be in the military anymore. But when they got out, their service wasn't done. I like to say that their service was just getting started. So what you're looking at here, and again, I don't know the majority of these men and women that are sitting here, that we're honoring this morning. But I do know that they are leaders in their community. They're leaders here in Plymouth and wherever they're from. Leaders in their families, in their churches. They volunteer with nonprofits. When the old lady next door needs shingles replaced on her roof, they're going to be the first ones to show up and help. When there's a stranger broken down on the side of the road and it's raining and it's 11 p.m. at night, they're going to be the first ones to pull over and help change that tire. See, when we see a veteran, it's really vital to understand that they're not a commodity. We're not a commodity. We're not a tool that society uses to accomplish a certain goal. We're just a part of society. We might look a little different because we wear a uniform, but just like the teachers in the school and the administration and the custodial staff and the bus drivers, they all serve a purpose in our community. And they do it day after day after day. And I would imagine there are many days where these people don't want to come to school and teach you guys. There are probably many days where those bus drivers really don't want to start up the bus because it's 10 degrees below zero. And there are probably a lot of days where the custodial staff really doesn't want to clean up your mess. But they do it because that's their service to their community. And it's ongoing. So much like that, that's how veterans are in our community. We just had a really big spotlight shown on us for being in the military. But then you look at these men and women here this morning, and they are some of the most quiet servant leaders that you'll come across. It might be, like I said, in a family, in a business, in a nonprofit, in a church, in a school. But you will see that this group of people right here has probably accomplished more than you could ever imagine as a group after their military service. So this holiday season, we've got family coming in from out of town, family get-togethers and holiday dinners. And all of you that raised your hand and said you've got a veteran in your life, you're gonna see these people. They're gonna be back in your life, if they're not already. So this holiday season, when you're sitting around the table with a veteran in your family or a friend, don't just thank them for their service. I challenge you as young people to get to understand who these people are. Learn a lesson from them. Learn what it means to continue to serve. And get to know more about their story after the military. War stories and military stories, I know that those can be fun to hear sometimes, but we don't always like to talk about them either. What we do like to talk about, though, is helping people and our families and our friends. So that is what I encourage you guys to do this holiday season and moving forward. Get to understand, get to know, and get to appreciate the veterans in your lives a little bit better beyond thanking them for their service. And again, let's go ahead and just give these men and women a round of applause. And thank you for their service. So again, I thank you all for having me here and inviting and arranging this. And you guys, I know that sitting in bleachers for an hour or so on a Friday can be really tough because you want to get out of here and get on with your day and get the weekend. But just let this morning sink in a little bit. Not a single word that I had to say, but keep an image of this group of men and women who all look different, young and old, everywhere in between, different walks of life, but they all have a very common thread, and that is their service to their community. So that is what I want you to remember from this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Great story, very inspiring words, and we certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us once again. One more time, a round of applause for Josh Walker. Josh, for our gratitude, we want you to know that you are forever welcome back here at Plymouth High School anytime. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special performance at this time. Our Crimson Connection stands before us, and they're going to be joined by some familiar faces. Amongst the Crimson Connection today, we have 9 of our very own teachers who are going to entertain us by singing God Bless the USA. Mr. Van Antwerp.
To be an American, God bless the USA. God bless the USA. If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again, my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, there's a pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA, the United States of America. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much, students and teachers. Mr. Van Antwerp, thank you again very much. Another round of applause for that great performance. There are so many great parts to this program. That was certainly one of them. Josh's speech, another. I have to say that the next part is always very special to me because I see the pride each and every year of the individuals who are seated on the floor in front of us as we ask them to stand to the playing of their military branch's march. The band, under the direction of Bryan Ames, is going to lead us through a progression of those military marches. And I ask that you please cast your eyes on the balcony behind me, veterans, and you will see a number of students there. Students, if you'd wave your hands. They are each going to be holding one particular sign, and as your march is being played, that sign will be raised. And when that sign is raised and that march is being played, I want you to stand up with all the pride that you have as we recognize you. Please enjoy. Mr. Ames. And it is okay to clap when our veterans stand to their march. Mr. Ames, students up in our band, thank you so much. That was awesome. Another round of applause for those kids. I'd like you all to please cast your attention to the back of the room. We have our special wreath presentation ceremony at this time. This year our special guest is Specialist Daniel Diaz of the National Guard. Mr. Diaz will present the wreath, which he will walk up. He'll station the wreath here to my left. He'll step back and he'll salute the wreath to the playing of taps. During the playing of taps, I ask that everyone present today, please take a moment. Just take a moment to be thankful for everything that we have. Thankful for the people who have gone before us, for those who have fallen, for those who have returned. But take the opportunity to think internally about what we have, regardless of the controversy that we face on a day-to-day basis. In the big picture, folks, we live great lives with great opportunities. And it's because of people like those that are seated before us that we have those choices. So remember that during this very special event. Thank you, Specialist Diaz. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everyone for attending our Veterans Day program today. Special thanks to so many people, but I would be in error if I didn't address Mrs. Haley Church and Mrs. Kelsey Flynn, along with our student government, our class officers. These individuals put this program together for us each and every year. Please join me in thanking those individuals. I also want to thank all of the students who had a part in this performance today, our band, our choir, all the students who worked behind the scenes to make it special for everyone who was here. Thanks once again to Josh Walker for the great job that he did today. But most importantly, I want to thank the people that are here as our special guests, the veterans who sit before us. But I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to give thanks to those who aren't here with us today, those that have fallen as well as those who currently serve. I've never done this before, but we have some people who are serving right now for our freedom, whose parents are amongst us. I would like for anyone in the audience today who currently has a child who is serving for our freedom, please stand up, please. Please join me in thanking their children. Please. once again, we hope that our program did you justice today. We hope that we showed our sincere appreciation for everything that you've done for us. Regardless of the commitment that we made towards this program, we couldn't do enough. And that's pure when I say that. We hope that all of you and many more are here next year at this very same place on this very special day to join us. On behalf of the students and the staff of Plymouth High School, we thank you. We thank you so